All right, today we're going to talk about what has to be one of the biggest mess-ups in AI history. We're talking about the time Anthropic, a top AI company, just accidentally published the entire secret recipe for its most valuable product.
I mean, seriously, what if Coca-Cola just decided to post its secret formula online? That's basically what we're looking at here. On March 31st, one little mistake and boom, the entire blueprint for Anthropic's best coding assistant was out there for everyone to see. And for a company that prides itself on secrecy, well, the fallout was going to be huge.
And when I say huge, how huge are we talking? Well, the product that got leaked, Claude Code, brings in something like $2.5 billion a year. So yeah, this wasn't just some random code. It was the whole treasure chest of IP. And the crazy part is, the lock was picked by their own locksmith.
Okay, so what was actually in that treasure chest? Because what developers started finding inside the, 500,000 lines of leaked code, it was way more fascinating and frankly more revealing than anyone could have guessed.
Right away, developers started pulling out this roadmap of unreleased features. And this is the good stuff. We're talking about an AI that works in the background and literally dreams to organize its memory, a stealth mode to hide what it's doing. Even, get this, traps designed to poison the data of any competitors trying to snoop around.
Probably the wildest discovery was a feature called Kairos. It's this unreleased kind of autonomous mode where the AI just works as a persistent assistant in the background, cleaning up and consolidating its memory while you're not even there. And you want to know the internal name for this process? They called it Auto Dream. I mean, that's a wild parallel to how our own brains work when we sleep, right?
And then there was this, a really controversial feature called Undercover Mode. And the code had explicit instructions for the AI, literally saying, "Do not blow your cover." So, what was it for? Its job was to scrub any and all traces that an AI was involved when it was contributing to open source projects, basically to hide its work from the same communities that Anthropic depends on. Yikes.
The code also showed off this super clever defense mechanism they built called anti-distillation. You can think of it like a digital booby trap. It secretly injects these fake tools into the AI's output, and it's all designed to poison the data of any rival trying to copy their model. It's exactly like an old-school map maker adding a fake street to their map just so they can catch someone who's copying them. Pretty smart, right? But maybe the most revealing thing of all were the internal notes, the stuff they never wanted anyone to see. And what did they show? That Anthropic's newest models, which they codenamed Capybara, were actually getting worse. Yeah. The rate at which the models were making false claims had jumped from around 17% to almost 30%. That's a huge regression, and it's something they were obviously struggling with behind closed doors. So, okay, you've got all these incredible, juicy secrets. The next big question has to be, how on earth did this all get out? Was it some sophisticated hack from another country? A disgruntled employee? Nope. The reality is, way less exciting and a whole lot more embarrassing.
To get how this happened, you really only need to know about one thing. It's called a source map. The best way to think about it is like a Rosetta Stone, but for computer code. It's just a little file developers use on the inside to translate all the messy, compressed code you see in production back into the clean, human-readable original. And it is absolutely 100% supposed to stay internal.
Okay, so here's the play-by-play of how it all went down. An engineer is getting an update ready, they accidentally include that secret Rosetta Stone, that source map file, in the public package. That package gets uploaded to NPM, which is basically the world's biggest public library for software. And inside that one tiny file was a public link, a URL pointing to a folder where the entire secret source code was just sitting there, out in the open, for anyone in the world to download.
So, and this is the key thing to remember. This wasn't a hack. Nobody broke in. It was in Anthropic's own words, just good old human error. That's it. A single misconfigured file. That's all it took to blow the lid off a multi-billion-dollar product's most guarded secrets.
But here's where it gets crazier. This mistake didn't just happen in a vacuum. A bug that could cause this exact problem had been reported in their own software weeks before. And get this, just 5 days earlier, they had a different major leak. Then on the very same day this all went down, one of their key software partners got hit with a totally separate attack. I mean, you couldn't write it. It was a perfect storm of things going wrong.
And you know, maybe the most damning detail of this whole mess? This had happened before. Yeah, a nearly identical source map leak with the same product had happened just 13 months earlier.
which, makes you wonder if they learned any lessons the first time around.
So the fallout here is way bigger than just one company being embarrassed. Because when Anthropic leaked its own code, it didn't just expose its own secrets. It basically handed the entire AI industry a free blueprint to how it does everything.
And the business risk here is just enormous. You have to understand 80% of Claude Code's money comes from big enterprise clients. These are huge companies paying top dollar because they think they're getting secure, protected, proprietary tech. A leak like this, it completely shatters that trust. It just guts their whole sales pitch.
Think about it. Every single one of their rivals, from the tiniest startups to the giants like Google and OpenAI, they now have a copy of Anthropic's playbook. They can see the secret sauce for their memory architecture, their entire roadmap of what's coming next, all their internal weaknesses. They even know about those anti-copying tricks, which means they can just work around them now. It was truly an unbelievable gift of competitive intel.
And this all leads to a really interesting paradox, right? Anthropic's whole brand is being the safety-first AI company. They're supposed to be cautious, responsible, transparent. But what this incident showed was a company with repeated basic security failures, and let's be honest, features like undercover mode that are specifically designed to be the opposite of transparent.
So it leaves us with a pretty big question, and not just for Anthropic, but for the entire industry. As this race for AI dominance just gets faster and the stakes get higher, is safety a real, genuine guiding principle? Or is it just becoming another marketing slogan, another product to sell?